Hi, everyone. My studio is ready. We all have become actors on a stage, haven't we? With our video communications capabilities since pandemic times, that has risen up, huh? Lots of things to get ready. Unplug the fan, move the cat toys out of the way. Right, Tommy? What else? I have to have my water, got my blanket to sit on, make my space available for today's practice. So hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back again and again. If you're here with me live time, 10 a.m. in the morning on Sundays, Eastern time or later. So last week was about a 20 minutes as I was very quiet in the house where everyone was sleeping. I was on West Coast time, 7 in the morning as I was recording. So the theme today, let me get us grounded, but we'll do something. Our mini movement will be lying on the ground. As always, you can choose whatever position to be in that is nourishing for you, supportive for you this morning. Uh, I may have a disruption. Somebody may be coming in the door, and that will probably trigger Rock, who is currently asleep right over here. So we'll deal with that. We set up our space as best as we can to not be disturbed by bugs or excess heat or cold, uh, doorbells, but some things are beyond our control, right? And that's grist for the mill of our practice. So the practice will be lying down. It's possible to do it seated. You could do it in a bed. It's possible maybe to do it from legs up the wall position. Um, on our backs will be, and then from after we do the mini movement really sets us up for energetically and our whole being up for the quiet and stillness of meditation. So from there, you could either stay in a laying down position, or you might come up to seated as I will. And I'm hoping I'll be audible from laying down of some kind of plague with my sound system for me, but I'm working on it. So again, thank you for being here, and I wanna just shout out, there's some people I've never yet met in person. I've not met Jennifer Mortimer. Elizabeth Kaiser, it feels like I've met you. Maybe you've been in my classes when I was in the studio still on Thursdays. Lisa Sajowski, it's so nice to see your name on the lists. Namita Soni, you're new to me as well, welcome. Patty Lapointe, are you, joining Jackie's meditation sometimes? No. And Catherine, I know you might be watching later, you and Kevin. Brooke, I'll see you on Friday, hopefully this coming Friday with Jackie's meditation at 8 Eastern time. You gotta register for that one, it's on Zoom, but it's by donation, so you can give what you can. Kamalesh, I wonder where you are these days. Sandra, sometimes I see your name float across my registration. And Lana, I just spent some time with you out west. Sometimes you're here with us too. So, if you'd like to center on your back, you can do that. I'll do that from seated, and then I'll get on my back to demonstrate just a little bit. This is Max joining the sleeping crew. Arrive. Everyone's arriving. How do you know you're arriving? How do you know it? Through your body? Through partly through your visual sense, your 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 auditory sense, tactile sense of feeling through our skin and um, our various interoceptive, proprioceptive senses, big words, through your breath, through the ground and her hugging force of gravity. Gravity. That word also points to kind of a serious, can be mean sober, serious outlook, attitude. Maybe it's a down to earth attitude. And so my usual pointers are ground, sound, breath, that help us arrive and begin to tap more into this portal, this apparent portal into presence. We actually don't need a portal, it's all already here, but we do need one. Can you sense that presence is lingering a little bit more tangibly now? So gravity, like allowing ourselves to feel and sort of go with the heaviness, the pull, right on this place we are. It's always here, also always here for while we're on this in this body, in this earthly mode, we are uh, gravity is holding us down, supporting us, anchoring us, but it has a opposite and equal force, as everything does in our as we know it scientifically, of levity. Levity. Breath helps us know we're right here, always present, and something that while we don't have to attend to it to stay alive, it's we may be invited to, or we may choose to enhance our experience of breathing, to be more conscious of where we're unconsciously holding, habitually holding, and by shining the light of our consciousness there, we more often we become aware, and almost it's not even such a, I was going to say we have a choice to let go, but it's almost so automatic once you feel that you're holding. You realize it's unnecessary. Just the felt sense of it is like, "Oh, I can let go." Let go in the muscles of the face, neck, chest, back. Even as we are, if you're upright, there's a little bit of effort needed, but as you find how the gravitational field can support you, sort of lean into that tension that's created down and up. The tension supports us, but we only need to find the minimal tension, and then it becomes more and more effortless to be upright. And if you're lying down, the distribution, the way our mass is distributed, it's even easier to find this sort of balance. It's a balance, but it's an alignment, balance and alignment together, because more of us is supported. And I don't know about you, but often when I come to this quiet of simply being here, not and letting my thoughts be backgrounded more and more, Not denying them, trying not to deny them, but I feel this deliciousness of as if I'm meeting my own boundless presence, that essence that's always here, and in that is some sort of nourishment that's eternally, eternally coming up, and at the same time soothing me, caring for me, uh, uh, restoring me. Check for yourself, though. Check for yourself. And in the breathing and in this noticing of ground, the things around us, space around, sound and space around, the inner and the outer are seen to be continuous. The boundary is so important, but the continuity is something we also forget. Not only continuity, but the exchange, the breath, the life force, the molecules of air that is um, hydrogen or whatever, not molecules of air, but they're made up of um, atoms, various atoms. They come into us, they nourish us, they go out and nourish the plants in a new form. So all that is just this gift, this grace of arrival. And as we get quiet, and I'm going to get on the ground and speak a little louder, so I hope my sound stays good. If you're transitioning, you can do another arrival project. Attention. And as we get more still, I'm going to keep my knees bent because that's kind of how we're going to be. As we arrive and get still, sometimes I've called them monsters, but all kinds of thinking can arise, all kinds of imagery, thinking, memory, projection. And in that, our the light of our consciousness can clamp down, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a awesome thing. But we tend to be there too much, and yet it's the portal that brings us into the process of integration of yoga. So the first step can be, like naming, embracing, saying hello to every monster, every visitor. It's not a big deal. Just it sometimes is when the monsters we have issues with them. We've got history. We've got triggers. But at the same time that we're naming the monster, and for me, it might be, the to-do list. Oh, something I didn't do, something I need to do. At the same time we name it, say hello to it. Hello, to-do list. There you are again. Where are you? I think you're up here. Good to feel where it's located in your body, what grips it, or where it's coming, the source of it, or it's where it's coming through. Hello, at the same time, have that space around, feel inner and the outer, the boundlessness of presence. And that's the beginning of the integration. We start to feel, and as you sometimes lean into that spaciousness and background, the thoughts, monsters, visitors, sometimes it might feel like we start to float away. We start to fear that we'll lose the grounding, we'll get over untethered, and that's a real thing that can happen. That's can be not so healthy, can be disassociative. So we want to stay sensing the ground, And now let's move this little bit. I'm going to unweight my right hip so my left hip gets a little heavier while my knees stay pointed up to the ceiling, so bent knees. If you're doing this from sitting, it's sort of like one hip, the left hip pulls back a little bit and then comes back to the front. So just one side, unweighting the right hip or letting it come forward a little if you're in a sitting position. Pausing, noticing that whole shift of the whole body and gravity, ground, relationships. And then let the right hip come back into place. Pause. Breathing can still be happening even as we pull back and be noticing from the widest possible aperture. And while my instruction is from the hip area and a little bit from where the legs are positioned, notice the whole of you, the feet, the lower back, the upper back, the arms, the throat, the head, the eyes, the scalp, the toes, and the relationship that's changing in our body mass to ground, even if it's just a small part of you touching at the pelvis or a large part of you. A little visitor, I'm noticing a little congestion, noticing my jaw releasing, all this naming, not just the monsters, but all visitors. The deliciousness of the massage that's happening and the little bit of torque going through my whole spinal column and through the spirals of my legs, the movement that happens. And let it go, and I'm going to let it go all the way by letting my legs get long. And it may be quite easy to feel the boundlessness of our awareness and presence. And you stay where you are on the ground. I'm going to come up to seated just to make sure my sound is better, hopefully. And after that pause, then bend the knees again. And this time, unweight the left hip. Just a little bit is enough. You might pause at that unweightedness where the right hip is heavier. And then bring the left hip back down. And the knees are staying pointed to the ceiling. It's not a windshield wiper movement with the legs. It's which is fine. It's a different set of things that are happening. This is work more with the hip intersection with the low back. Just a slight unweighting of the left hip. The right hip bears the weight more. It's like the weight pours over into the right side. And about 2 more times, slowly noticing, enjoying. Here together, sound, space around, breath. And let it go and simply let your legs go long if you're reclining. Or let them stay bent, lean the knees against each other, widen the feet apart. Notice that consciousness, the open light of consciousness, just hold the sensations, the felt senses that include physical feelings, emotional feelings, along with what thought visitors may be coming and going. And we'll segue right into meditation that will be signified by the bell, the beginning of meditation. You can be on your back still, seated in a chair, Come to sitting upright on the floor. And as I mentioned earlier, you may have a little more sense of presence. That is us, that is our eternal essence, is our boundless essence, but often in day to day moments we are unconscious of this boundless awareness. We'll take about 7 minutes of stillness, silence. There be ease in your selected posture. Whatever arises, you might notice your reaction or reactions to it, thought, a, a pain in the body, and then notice your reaction to the reaction. The chain can go on, but as you then sink back to who is it that's seeing all these monsters? Who is it that's seeing, feeling? What is that? And that can sink you back to wide open, boundless presence. And the integration, the merging, when we start to hold that presence lightly, effortlessly, to be conscious of that presence, then everything that comes and goes, it is the present awareness that's the presence awareness that's witnessing, that's meeting, that's healing. So there is an integration of all of that and our own role. All those visitors are tailored specifically for us, for our path, for our pleasure, for our support, the support for us, for each of us individually. And some of the visitors of our personally custom made visitors are very difficult, almost impossible to bear alone. And that's why we are involved in these practices together. We need each other to walk each other home to that integration, to the knowing of that. I'm here with you. Perhaps notice if there can be room for some joy, gratitude. Lean back into any of the tools and then set the tool down and simply be. Few more breaths together. In this transition, the end of the meditation practice, as we hear the bell, come to the bow, linger there feeling this transition and what it feels like for you. Maybe there's a feel like, oh, I was just getting deep into it. I want to continue. Maybe there's a reverence for the depth of this experience, a gratitude. Maybe there's a gratitude for our collective practice. Maybe there's a self judgment of, ugh, I'm so bad at this, or something else. So hold that, just welcome that, see what it is. Just like practice is a lot like you've probably heard this analogy of story, like when a child comes out from the bedroom saying, "Mommy, mommy, daddy, there's a monster under my bed." And the parent could say, the adult could say, "Oh, there's no such thing. It's a monster under your bed. Go back to bed." And that's not so useful, right? But if we walk back with the child, let's go check, let's go see, let's go say hello, let's go, I'll be with you, we can do this. We have the courage together to go there and look under the bed. And then you can actually see there's nothing there that can help the child to relax, perhaps, unless the monsters are more inner. Anyhow, that's so we do this together here. We come and sit together to face the happy monsters and the scary monsters. Oh, and about the transition at a retreat with Adyashanti when Jackie and I would be on 5, 6, 7-day retreats. In the afternoon, the meditations were, I think they were 30 minutes or 40 minutes with breaks in between, 3 of them. And at the end of the meditation, so I think they were half an hour with 20-minute breaks. So you could everyone the instruction was to stand and bow at the end of the meditation, but you could then just choose to sit right back down and meditate again, or you could go on break, walk around, go use the bathroom, get some water. Um, so the purpose of that, pausing to bow is this about the sitting on the cushion, the meditation not being separate from our life. So we're transitioning to the next thing. You can give yourself a slow transition, but also the more we practice transitions, we can do them quicker and quicker. So I'm aware that today there was a long arriving. So I do that a lot, maybe sometimes 10 minutes. It seems like we're arriving. And that's maybe we should do those faster here, but it's a valuable practice as the more we do that and feel all the tools that help us arrive and feel that presence that's always here for us, that always is us, that informs us, guides us, um, and is what we're seeking for and is never away from us. But these portals help us to come back right here, to slide right in quick. Christine Clardy, who is one of our yoga and meditation teachers, calls it oiling the gates. So you get right in there quick. Ciao. See you next time. Keep in touch with us, sunandmoonstudio.com. See you next week.